In today's Warhammer 40k Necrons painting video, I'm going to paint my Kitbashed, Lychguard and Praetorians from Necron Warriors, and I'm going to share why you should plan your painting. And it's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, here we go. Today I am painting the Necron Warriors, which I kit-bashed into Praetorians and Lychguards. They're all magnetised with all 4 weapon options, and I can't wait to get these painted. Now I'm also painting the Wargaming exclusive Necro Cyborg Flayers at the same time. There's a video already up about me painting them. I'll link that up for you in the description below if you want to check it out. But today it's the Lychguard. Okay, so I started in my usual way. I dry brushed all of these miniatures, every single piece of them in Ironbreaker. Just dry brushing very carefully, building up the colour and painting the miniatures. And this was my first mistake, more on that to come. I then dry brushed with a Runefang still, again just building up the colour, dry brushing all over the miniatures and giving me my metal look. Now usually I'm pretty good at planning my painting, and I was very pleased that I'd painted all of these miniatures. They were looking pretty good. I'd even got my old Lychguard on the painting table here to see how they should be painted. And then I went on to the next stage, which was to paint in the black areas of the weapons. And that's when I realised I hadn't got all the weapon options out and put them on my painting table, and I realised that most of the weapons are black. I had no reason to dry brush half of the stuff that I dry brushed, and that was annoying. If I'd planned it better, then I wouldn't have wasted my time, because not only did I waste my time dry brushing the miniatures, but I also had to then go back in and paint them back over in black. And some of the areas, the fronts of the weapons and the little stems of the weapons are totally black. I even considered taking them outside and priming them black again, but I didn't. In the end, I just watered down some black paint. I took my punishment and I just painted back over all of the stuff that I wanted to be black. Okay, so the mistake has been corrected. I'm back on track and we are painting again. This time we are painting Warpstone Glow. I did 2 or 3 layers of this on the orbs and anything on the models that I wanted to be green. I'm copying my original Lychguard, as I said, so I'm very carefully trying to mimic what I was doing with the original Lychguard. But of course, on these warriors, they don't have exactly the same things in the same places. I've got a big orb on the back from a Wraith heads that I put on the back to be their sort of backpack section, but I tried my best to match them in. I painted Mute Green over the Warpstone Glow, again 2 or 3 layers, and this time I left the Warpstone Glow in the outer edges so they got a bit of contrast on the orbs. Next was the chest plates. Now the chest plates of my Lychguard I painted the same as I did my Necron Pariah back in the 3rd edition codex, and they had a purple chest plate with a gold symbol. So that's what I did. I painted Xiria's purple on the chest plate, and then I washed it with a purple wash. Now whilst the wash was drying, I got some Dawnstone Grey on my palette, and I did a very light dry brush over all of the black areas. Now I do this, that's wrong. Dawnstone Grey shouldn't be, it should be bolt gun metal. There's another mistake I made. However, I've finished the models now, so forget it. Okay, so I made a mistake I didn't even know I made until I'm recording this video. But I used Dawnstone Grey. Actually, this should have been, I can't even remember the name of the colour. No wonder why I didn't do it. What do they call it? It used to be gunbolt metal. What's it called now? Lead Belcher. Right, so this should have been Lead Belcher. over the black. The idea is to do a very small little highlight here and there over the black. I've done it the wrong colour. It really isn't going to make much difference. It's a very, very light dry brush. Can't believe I did that. Oh well. Right, next it was Pink Horror. I did a very light dry brush just on the chest plate. I used a brand new dry brush just so that I could be as accurate as I could on that chest plate. I then used Gehenna's Gold and I painted the symbol. Of course, I am adjusting my brush size as I paint, depending on whether I'm painting something big or small. On the symbols, I just used a 000 brush. I then used Gehenna's Gold again and I painted the neck bone on the miniatures. Again, just matching these into my original Praetorians. Now, as you could probably tell, I had no dispersion shields for these Kitbashes, so I used the Void Blades as a double up of dispersion shields and a Void Blade. I don't think it makes too much difference, it just is how it is because I didn't have the spare parts. But I had to paint them to look like both dispersion shields and also Void Blades. So I was looking at how I painted both of them. I was trying to sort of intertwine the two schemes. So first I used the Gehenna's Gold and I painted the little sections on the Void Blade the same as my original Void Blade. Then I used white on the Void Blades just like I did on the dispersion shields. I just used a little bit of white on the outside edges of the gold. Again, just matching in how I painted my dispersion shields. Of course, it's different, but similar. I also painted white on the head crests and also the tabards. And I painted this white 8 times, 8 coats. Watered down, just gradually built up the colour so that I got a nice, smooth, even finish. White is quite difficult to paint, but it's best to paint thinner coats. Once that was done, I used Dawnstone Grey and I lined in all of the little recesses on the tabards and on the head crests. I then added some different material to the bases so that I could distinguish the units from units of 10 to units of 5. And then I added some sand. I used PVA glue, watered down, put on some sand and let that dry. I painted the sand with black paint, 2 coats watered down. And then I used Dawnstone Grey and I dry brushed the sand. And lastly, I painted the rims of the bases with black. And that is them all finished. Like I said, these are magnetized into 4 different options. So I'm going to show you the 4 different options in this little mini showcase. First of all, we've got the particle caster and void blades. Pretty cool. I like them, although I think this is my favorite setup. This, of course, is the sword and board version. I think this is definitely the best version out of them all. And to be fair, probably the version I'm going to use the most was certainly in 10th edition. So next we have the Rod of Covenant. Pretty cool. Obviously, yes, the original models are sort of two-handed where I've got the shield on there, but it works. It still works. You can tell what they're supposed to be. And in actual fact, I think it adds quite a nice dimension to them. They remind me of Zulu warriors with those staffs, and probably even more so with the neck setup, which is the war scythes. Again, they've got the shield with the scythe, Zulu warrior vibe, but I'm really liking them. But I think they work. I think you can tell they're war scythes, and if I said to you, those are Lychguard with war scythes, then I think you'd understand and see where I'm coming from. Anyway, that is it. I really hope you enjoyed both the Kitbashed and the painting videos. If you didn't see the Kitbashed video, then check out the link to it there. And if you want to see me magnetize the original Games Workshop models with all 4 weapon options, then there's a video for you to check out just there.